Let's check out the Speedway and Big Thunder Mountain. Hey everyone, it's Herb from World of Walt, and welcome to another live broadcast from the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. Today we are at the Magic Kingdom. It's a bit of a humid and warm day, about 80 degrees on the way up to 91 or 92. And today we have a special guest joining the Facebook Live. The one, the only, the famous Topher.
Let's not get carried away. I just heard you needed somebody to drive you around the Speedway, so it will be my fault when we crash into the rail 75 times while you're running the camera. But
it's part of the fun, right?
Exactly. But I am here, and hopefully we have audio. Herb and I are literally now tied together by 2 microphone cords, so nothing could possibly go wrong with this.
Nothing could go wrong. And I like the shirt, by the way.
Yes, I'm sure that we'll have plasma burner speed out there on the Speedway. I actually need to, when I was here last August, was here with college friends and their kids. Henry and Ezra Glick are the world's biggest Speedway fans. They have your Speedway shirt. They're at gymnastics right now, but they're going to tune in later. So Henry and Ezra, we are going to try to do your driving skills proud. Ezra last time bragged to his mom afterwards that he tipped himself over with his driving skills. He was 3 at the time, but we are going to try to do what they could going around the Speedway.
Henry and Ezra, hope you're having a good day at gymnastics, and thank you for watching the replay. It's not too much of a busy day here at the Magic Kingdom. Monorail seemed to be a little bit delayed. I don't think it had its Starbucks yet, but not bad. So Topher, I know that you have already conquered half of the park, and it's before most people have even got up.
You know, I did. Actually, I attempted to catch the bus. I'm staying at the Swan, but I went over to the Yacht Club to catch the bus. The bus I was going to get on was a floater bus that can go to different locations, and changed its mind at the last second to go to Animal Kingdom, which was not helpful, of course. So I ended up using a trick from the Magical Countdown calendar and took an Uber over to the Contemporary so I could walk and still get here in time for rope drop. So thanks to Rob K and Stephanie G, that Stephanie G might be related to me, for that tip in the calendar. But that worked really well. And so, you know, it's 10 o'clock now. I've done 5 rides, including being on the second train of the day on Big Thunder. So, you know, this time of the day, especially if you're trying to beat the heat, it is so valuable to be here as soon as you can. So it was really worth making that extra effort to get here by 8:30. Because, you know, if I don't get here until 9:10, I waste a lot of that.
So you have tested out the tips in the calendar, and you can attest that they work and are effective.
I can vouch for one of them, yes.
For one of them, okay, good. It's definitely wise to get here first thing, even if you're not a morning person, because you can get so much more done in the first couple hours of the day than you might get for the rest of the day.
And you know, it's interesting. I'm learning the new Lightning Lane multi-pass system for the first time. But, you know, for you, being able to book stuff in advance is really helpful, I'm sure. Yeah. And, you know, I've got a bunch of stuff today. We're going to try to show people afterwards how that process works. Actually, we may be able to do it now, but why don't you see who's out there? I'm sure there's people you need to say hello to.
Someone named Stephanie said hello to you.
Oh, boy.
You're famous, yeah. Jeffrey, hello to you. Sharon, thanks for joining. Donna in Louisiana, nice to see you. And Pauline from the UK, thank you for joining. It's a little noisy here at the Speedway, as it always is. It's a fun aroma, too.
You want to try this? So, since we just used Lightning Lanes to get in here, it now says that I can check for another experience now. So if I tap on that, it will allow me to book. So it will come up initially with Magic Kingdom choices. I, however, am going to go to Epcot later, so that's where I'm going to look. So up this comes, and you take a look. Some of these are just standby attractions. I could get the Pixar Short Film Festival, but that's at 10:10. That's too early. But I could go to Frozen at 7. You see, I've actually purchased Guardians of the Galaxy for later. Some other choices there, Living with the Land, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that Frozen now, which may or may not be the right strategy. Sometimes you want things that you can get through because you can't book again until you use one. But there you can see kind of the rest of my day. I've got Winnie the Pooh, I've got the Dwarfs, and then I'll be at Epcot later. And then after that, actually, I've got to get back here because that's when my Tiana's Bayou Adventure is. So it's a busy day.
It's a busy day. So the key is, as soon as you tap into one attraction, you should be looking for the next one while you're waiting to get on.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't waste any time, because I actually took a look at that Epcot stuff maybe 20 minutes ago, and Frozen was in the 4 o'clock range. So it's moved back from 4 to 7 in the last 25 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
But you also have the ability to modify those. So for instance, if I decide that Frozen's too late, I can go back into the system and then pick something else that works better for me. And every once in a while, you will find a situation where somebody cancels their pass and something that wasn't available will become available. That worked for me last night. I got into town last night and went to Hollywood Studios. I had booked a bunch of stuff 7 days ago, but beyond that, there wasn't much good available until, out of the blue, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run just appeared, and I was able to snag that. Somebody must have canceled theirs. So, it's always that dilemma of how much time do you want to spend on your phone. If you're a good walker and can do the phone while you're moving between things, though, there are opportunities to pick up on that kind of stuff.
So I guess the lesson there is, if you don't see something at first, it doesn't mean that it might not come up later.
Correct.
You shouldn't count on it, but it might.
Exactly. It's rare, and if you see one that appears, grab it immediately if you want it, because if you hesitate, it will be gone.
Okay. So as a general rule, it seems like things don't become more available, or earlier times don't become available, but maybe sometimes they will.
My understanding of the system, just from what I've read, is that Disney does hold back a handful of lightning lanes that get dumped into the system during the day. The really power users above my pay grade know when that might happen, and so they kind of know when to check. So there will be times that in the middle of the day, a handful of Tiana's Bayou Adventure lightning lanes will appear, but it really is, unless you're really going to obsess about it, it's kind of dumb luck to find those. But yes, if you're there and have something that you'd like to upgrade, taking a look every once in a while can be worth the effort.
Okay, good tip. I think we're all still learning how the new system operates. It's kind of like the old system, but it's got its own new nuances as well.
Hey, can I get a prize if I request a shameless plug?
You do. It's my appreciation. So we might as well.
I think you better do it.
Shameless plug. Okay. Get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month. You know what to do. EndOfTheMonthClub.com. And so for today, you do get my undying appreciation.
How many cards today?
Oh, no, one card.
One card? Okay, that was spot number 2. Number 2.
All right, it won't be long now. Maureen, hello to you. Thank you for joining on the broadcast. Susan from South Florida, good morning. Good to see you.
Susan has to be one of your most loyal viewers. I see her name every week that I'm tuned in.
Me too. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate your always being here. Phil is saying hello to you, Topher.
Oh, who was?
Bill, I think.
Well, hello. Thank you.
You're the famous one now.
Don't.
Tracy said she can smell the ride all the way from Minnesota. And we're going to try not to choke each other as we get in.
Yeah, this will be fun. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. All right, we are safely strapped in. The road looks clear.
No one will ever believe me, but one time I got around this track without hitting the rails. I bet, and we're going to make it 4 feet this time before we do it.
I think I would need photographic evidence on that. Yeah. So the steering seems somewhat connected to where we're going, but looks like there is a randomness factor here.
The pressure of knowing I was going to have to drive for you has been bothering me for the last 24 hours. Also, we got to take these people in lane 2.
Oh, come on.
Maybe they want to say hello. Can you get them screen. Show the folks that we're making a pass.
That little girl drives better than I do, actually. She's taking us on.
They got the inside lane. Now they got traffic in front of them now.
We'll catch up.
Oh, what is this? A turbo boost over there?
They have the plasma burner.
I have got it matted.
Yes.
Very poor. I've never seen that view of the castle before.
Mike said he can hear the Odd Couple theme song in the background.
Oh, traffic troubles, lane 2. Sorry.
Line of the day right there. Very good morning to you. I was getting a great view of Tron right here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I've done the Speedway at night when Tron has been lit up. I think that would be a fun thing to do.
I agree.
Topher, you're a good wheelman.
We're doing all right.
Doing good.
My left leg may cramp up from running the accelerator here.
There's no cruise control. There's no autopilot.
Right?
So when it gets very warm out, the screen goes very dark.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No, you're
so
right.
Topher could attest to this.
Yes.
And
I've heard you say that, and the combination of you don't get a lot of lighting, and then if you've got shadows,
Yeah.
like being backlit in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's a little hard to see the comments.
Maybe you should just make them up.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Oh, Lois is in Colorado. It's 82 today.
Some of them I could probably guess. Like, I know Susan is saying hello, so I can do that.
Let's see, you might have Vicky the Georgia Peach out there.
Yeah, Vicky. Vicky, I hope you're watching today. Thank you. All right, looks like our ride is almost coming to an end. We'll see if we bonk the car in front, even though the signs say not to do that.
Oh, we'd never do that. Never come in here at full speed into the back of car 49.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, look at that
Close.
graceful maneuvering.
Good driving, good driving. Hello, Gail. Melkus, nice to see you.
Up, now we're going to go.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
I don't see any damage at all. It's okay. You don't even have to leave a note on that car.
He's got a Batman hat on. It's not a Disney character.
So he deserved it, is pretty much what you're saying.
Exactly.
Lisa, hello to you in Michigan. Peggy said you're hilarious.
Oh, good.
Actually said the two of us are hilarious.
There we go.
I think you get the humor credit. Kathleen said we had a crazy ride. More like a crazy driver, but we'll say it was a crazy ride.
I have to say I was disappointed. I rode the teacups this morning, and it's so humid that I could barely hold onto the wheel to spin it. It was like 50% spinning power because the thing just slid through your hand.
Yeah, those turning plates are like slick metal, right? So, yeah. Maria, hello to you. Lynn, good morning. Keith is riding on the chain gang. All right, Topher's taking us in for a landing.
Right here at door number 3. Good luck!
All right, the good news is we got out of the car. Nobody got choked or hurt. That was the little girl who overtook us.
Yes.
We were driving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a speed demon.
Yeah, give her a ticket. We do need to be careful not to clothesline someone. My crowd avoidance instincts would be to bob away from you, and I can't do that.
Yeah, we're kind of tied right now together. The joy of wireless microphones, or wired microphones, excuse me.
What is it that Stadler and Waldorf say at the end of Muppet Vision 3D, where, we're bolted to the seats, we can't leave. Well, we're just microphones.
It's kind of like us, yes. So we are headed over towards the rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island. I'll have a little discussion about some of the announcements this past week from D23. I think we call that a boatload of news.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, so was there anything you were especially surprised at in the multitude of announcements that came out?
You know, I mean, I pay some attention to this stuff, so I'd heard rumors of bits and pieces of things. I had not really conceptualized that cars would come to the Magic Kingdom with having a presence at Disneyland already, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the idea of a Monsters, Inc. coaster based on the Doors has floated around ever since that movie came out, to the point that the people who wanted it kind of thought its time must have passed. And so I assume that's just kind of been living on the drawing board for a long time. Of course, you've got some anxious folks now wondering where that's going to go at Hollywood Studios. There's no official announcement, including rumors that even Disney hasn't decided yet.
Yeah.
But the Muppets fans are nervous that it might be time to go get your dose of Muppet Vision 3D in case that is the location. But could also go over on the other side of the park by like the Star Wars launch bay rather.
Yeah.
But
So
that was the one I think that I didn't see coming at all.
So if I were a betting man, I would probably go this way or that way.
What do you think people want to see?
Oh, let's go this way.
Okay.
If I were a betting man, I would say over towards the launch bay. To me, it seems like, not having studied Google Maps, so maybe there's more room over that way. And that's definitely a area of the park that could use a bit more traffic.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a lot that goes into making that decision, including the fact that there's a lot of offices and even a parking garage back
Who and
there.
Tigger?
So for me, I think both of what you said also struck me. Like, I never envisioned cars coming to the Magic Kingdom. But the one that kind of blew me away was 4 new cruise ships coming.
Right
on the heels of Disney having announced another cruise ship with the Oriental Cruise Line just a week or two before. And all of a sudden, a cruise line that I think of as having 4 or 5 ships is now going to have 13 ships. And that is a massive growth in that side of the business, especially since each one of those is probably $1 billion investment.
You know, I didn't read the details of that announcement. Did they announce where those ships are going to be based? Because I know that some of that stuff has expanded into Asia and Australia and so forth. Yeah. So I assume that's part of the idea, is that it's not all just going to sail out of Florida, that they're going to go worldwide.
I would guess so. They didn't really give us a lot of details except the number 4. And we don't even know, maybe some of those ships are going to replace other ones, because some of the original ships are probably getting a little long in the tooth, even though they're still beautiful and fun to be on. But you know, ships only have a certain lifetime because they get beat up, just like everything does. So that was a surprise for me.
That was interesting. I was excited by the Walt Disney animatronic at Disneyland.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's something that they've wanted to do for a long time and finally got the technology to make it right.
Yeah.
I went to Disneyland earlier this year for the first time in like 20 years. It is an amazingly different experience. I know you've done a couple broadcasts from there, but
yeah.
You walk in and you see Sleeping Beauty Castle having Bed at Orlando, you're like, it's so small!
I know.
But
somebody deflated it. It's cute.
Yeah. And there definitely is some congestion. There's just not as much space.
Yeah.
But I also came back and I made a list for myself about, okay, which rides did I like the Orlando version better? Which rides did I like the Disneyland version better? And there were a number where I thought Disneyland actually has got a little bit of an edge here, especially what they've done with Big Thunder out there, which I think people are hoping will come here with the planned spruce up that's coming.
Yeah, the thing that always struck me is, like you're saying, how close together everything is. You can walk out of the Disneyland gate, and in 30 steps you can be at Disney's California Adventure, or you hang a left or a right, and all of a sudden you're at the downtown Disney district.
Yep.
It is all right there. Where here at the Magic Kingdom and all the parks at Walt Disney World, you got buses and monorails and cars, and everything is spread out. The blessing of size sometimes has a little bit of a double-edged sword to it.
Right.
But it also gives them a lot more options here as well.
It's a different experience because the park is just right in Anaheim. You're in town. It does not have that feeling that you get here of entering another world, leaving reality behind for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So you don't get that, but there is a degree of convenience. I mean, for folks who are staying at one of those hotels, whether it's at the Grand Californian or the Pixar place, which I can't remember if that's what it's called, but I mean, you are right there, and you can just walk out and be in one park, walk across to the other.
Yeah. It definitely does not have that bubble kind of feel to it.
It was interesting to ride the Disneyland version of the Tower of Terror, which is now Guardians themed out there.
Yep.
And I'd seen a little bit on Disney Plus about that the idea of the California version is that the Florida version is a scary ride. Everything about that is designed to heighten the tension, the music, the theming, and so forth. But that's not really what the Guardians are about. So even though it is a drop ride, the music is going, and it is a fun ride. It's an adventure that you're on. And it doesn't really try to scare you for a big drop. Even though it's the same ride system and so forth, it's a very different experience. And I thought that was really interesting. I also loved the Spider-Man Web Slingers ride. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, so I don't know the lore of that. But just playing that ride and the fact that they've got sensors that simply watch what you're doing with your hands to determine where you're shooting. It would be like playing Toy Story Midway Mania with no gun. Mm-hmm. You're just playing it with your hands, but it seems to be exceptionally accurate. No misfires. Other than operator error from me, I wasn't very good, but it sensed what we were all trying to do, and I wish I had studied a little bit in advance to have some idea of what to shoot at. But I wish I would have been able to ride that one again.
Yeah, I've not been there since Avengers Campus opened. So we can see the Liberty Bell is parked over here to the right. We'll skirt around the edge of the Rivers of America. So what is your take, Topher, on the announcement that this area will be no more? So Rivers of America and the riverboat are going to be going away to make room for Cars Land. I think a lot of people were expecting maybe that this area would get trimmed down, but some people were not expecting that this area is going to disappear and be reworked completely. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's one I'm still kind of trying to process. I think that one of the comments that I saw from somebody is that this really ups the ante for Disney to stick the landing on the Cars stuff, because if they're going to take Rivers of America out, they better replace it with something good, just because this is still something that you feel as part of Disney World, that or part of the Magic Kingdom, that there's that boat there that drives around the river, even though I haven't ridden it in 10 years probably. Yeah. But the idea that it's there, that you could, it's just going to look so very, very different. To me, it's a lot like the people who yearn for the Great Movie Ride. Mm-hmm. For me, I didn't love the Great Movie Ride because a lot of the movies were kind of before my time. I'm not a huge movie buff, but I understand the association that people have because that was the ride for Disney's MGM Studios when it opened, and now Hollywood Studios. And so I think that just the experience of coming through this spot and not seeing this waterway is going to be very, very odd. And I do think that Disney has put a little pressure on themselves by not doing what you said of shortening the course, or leaving this here just as a lagoon or something, even if there wasn't a riverboat. Yeah. Not because everybody rides it or because everybody goes to Tom Sawyer Island, because clearly they don't, but because people associate it, and also the idea that the park having some quiet places. I mean, look at this. We got thousands and thousands of people here, yet we're looking with a panoramic view of nobody.
Yeah. And
that isn't going to exist anymore. So that's one where I will wait to see, but it does make me go, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I had the same thought. So it's been a long time since I've been on either the riverboat, and forever since I've been over to Tom Sawyer Island. Although now I think I'm going to have a new motivation to get there before it's gone. But this is some very valuable real estate, and it's not being used probably to its highest and best. But it is a beautiful spot, and it's a relaxing spot, and I think it impacts the way that you experience the Magic Kingdom overall. But that said, nobody these days is booking a trip to come and go on a voyage for the Liberty Bell. But I think they will book a trip to come and check out Cars. So, It's one of those you got to give people what they want. This is not a museum. It changes, but it's going to be a different sort of experience. I think the park side of the theme park is going to suffer a little bit when this area is gone.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think there's a classic Walt quote that says that that Disneyland would never be finished. And that's kind of what the fans who have the hankering to say, oh, don't do that. What you got to remember is there's lots of things that have gone a different direction, and they're part of your collective memories. I still think if anybody out there from Disney is listening and you've got the tech to do this, if they could build a simulator ride, okay, like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, where you'd go in, you'd push the button, and you could ride any past Disney attraction. I got to believe they've got enough specs and video footage that those simulators could do that now to recreate that, where essentially any attraction that disappeared could be recreated. I think they'd draw some people for that. So I don't know if anybody in Imagineering watches this broadcast, that's my great idea.
Yeah, that is an interesting idea. The Play Pavilion is a spot that is begging for something like that, although maybe it's not a great Epcot fit. But yeah, so a few comments here. Someone said that change is hard. Ellen said she's going to miss the Liberty Bell. Elmer says change is not better, just different. So that is a good point. Susan said, don't take it away. Susan loves to ride. Yeah, so it will be interesting to see how it unfolds in Topher. I think you're right. In the end, you'll see how the people react to what they come up with. And so if what they've come up with is far superior and people are no longer even remembering about the Liberty Bell or Tom Sawyer Island, then that will answer the question.
And certainly, no one has really indicated what the so-called e-ticket ride's going to be, because there's going to be one big Cars ride and then one for smaller kids.
Yeah.
But they've got a pretty good template with Radiator Springs Racers out in California, California Adventure, if folks have ridden that. It is basically test track, side-by-side racing with someone through Cars scenes at pretty not quite the speed of test track, but close.
Yeah.
And it's an impressive ride. So, if they can come up with something like that, and they haven't made that announcement yet, but if they do, people will understand. I think another thing that they capitalize on is right now, there's a lot of wasted space for the fact that you can't get from the Haunted Mansion to Frontierland, that you have to go the other way around. And so at a minimum, they would have wanted to get through there. I think the other thing that you pointed this out in an article this week, that we're probably going to lose use of the railroad again for a while for the construction. So that's another thing to put on people's to-do list. And Disney is very smart about that, about getting these announcements and saying, hey, make sure you hit this, this, and this on your next trip.
Right.
Because it may be your last shot.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
People definitely missed the railroad because, it was 4 years for the closure, at least last time.
Yeah.
You can hear it in the background right now.
Yeah, I saw it on the way in this morning. Yeah, the fact that Big Thunder Mountain is sort of a dead end is sort of an issue from a crowd flow perspective. So it seems like that'll be an opportunity to address that as well. Someone said they wanted to go on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea on your simulator ride. I think it would be fun, but if you're not walking through the puddle at the bottom of the submarine, as you find your seat.
They get a little spritzer on you there.
Oh, that's true. They do have the 4D effects, yeah. I still remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I loved that attraction. It was amazing.
I was very young when I rode that, so I was very convinced that.
Me too. Me too.
Then I got a little older and looked and like, wait a minute, this doesn't look ocean deep out here.
But it felt like it.
But that's a great example, though, from the standpoint of that's a ride that was a classic, so associated with the park and that. And then they put the mine train in there that everybody loves.
Yeah.
So, on some level it hurts, but on another level, onto something new that you'll hopefully also love and still have some fond memories.
Right.
And in some ways, for the people that have the old photo album of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, those photos mean more when it's not there anymore. Because you can go back and look at it where you couldn't go there tomorrow to just check it out.
Yeah. And there still are the subs out at Disneyland, which you can take in.
Yep.
So a little bit of a different experience now, themed to Nemo, if I remember right.
Yep, that's right.
Still there.
Yep, that is still there. And the Autopia Speedway out there is considerably different than here in that it actually goes through the woods.
Yeah.
And you can see it from the monorail. The monorail is essentially an in-park attraction. Then it goes out and goes down a road where there's a 7-Eleven across the street. That's kind of interesting.
So Paul is copywriting the name the Topher Classic Park.
I like it.
Yeah, we're probably going to sell that to Disney, so that's good.
Perfect.
Larry said 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was a great movie. It was as well.
You should ask people what other rides of yore they miss.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So HR is saying she would like a virtual adventurers club. That's a good idea. You could maybe get a drink on the way out, something like that. That's good. Yep. Karen said Three Caballeros is favorite at Epcot. Arlene was thinking put the cars somewhere else.
Did you ever ride the what was inside Mexico before it was themed to the Three Caballeros? Because there was a themed or a Mexico just trip through a temple type ride that I never did. But
I think I did way back in the day. So yeah, I think it was more just these are scenes of the country as opposed to scenes with characters. If I remember,
there wasn't Donald Duck losing a bathing suit.
I don't think so. No. He's always getting in trouble. Emily is saying original Figment would be kind of fun. I think that would probably be a popular one. Yeah, especially if you could select different options. So, because that's the magic of a simulator, right?
Right.
And there's plenty of material that they could go for. That's a great idea. Imagineers, if you're listening,
call your friends.
Send the check to Topher. Eileen is saying Cranium Command. There's a flashback.
I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, I think that was the simulator as part of Wonders of Life.
Okay.
Yeah. Veggie Fruit, I think could be kind of fun to check out. You could do a show in there. You don't have to be a ride through, I think. Yeah.
Reenact that or find some old video.
Oh, Mary Ellen is voting for Maelstrom.
Oh, sure. That's another one that people miss. I mean, obviously it's the same ride system inside Frozen for the most part, but yeah.
For all of us who missed the big payoff, which is the oil rig, I think that would be fun to see again. Yeah. Ed is saying Snow White's Adventures. Yeah, that's been a long time. These are good ideas.
I remember when we did our tournament of villains, and one of our faux villain experts claimed that the evil queen should have gone further because she was so scary that they had to get rid of her ride because she was terrifying children.
Yep.
I missed the Skyway in the park.
I remember that too. That was fun. Right. Someone was voting for Alien Encounter. Someone's voting for Timekeeper. These are great ideas. Agnes says keep the riverboat. Maybe someday we'll have a virtual riverboat.
Sure.
It's time to...
I can tell you that if my mom is tuned in, a comment has gone by, like 6 comments have gone by voting for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride that you just haven't seen because she loves that ride. That's one that's still at Disneyland, so we were able to do it, which was great.
Yeah. I went on it last time I was there. I had my Mr. Toad shirt. I didn't wear it today, but...
it is interesting that they built that ride for children based on what happens at the end.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Toad's driving skills are not known to be the best, so it's
we were better than Mr. Toad today on the Speedway.
Absolutely.
Well, you are about to be in your window for Big Thunder, so we could probably start moving that way. I'll walk the rest of the way there with you. I don't have that lightning lane because I went standby this morning, but I'll walk a little further and then trust you with your audience to have some good fun and watch for the goats.
So any other tips when it comes to your lightning lane planning? Because based on what you were sharing with me before we started the broadcast, you've been able to hit a lot of things in a short period of time. You seem to be really understanding the ins and outs.
Well, here's, talk to me in another week after I've been here a couple more days to play with it. But my thought is, at all of the parks except Animal Kingdom, you have to pick a Tier 1 attraction, highly popular ride, and 2 Tier 2 attractions, less big of a deal. And for here, what I had this morning was the Speedway and Winnie the Pooh. And I think the strategy is going to be to get those rides as early as possible. Because as soon as you use them, there's no restriction on what you can rebook. So you can book a Frozen like I did if you can find availability for Big Thunder or Space Mountain, one of the other Tier 1s here at Magic Kingdom. Then you'll be able to add that, but that availability is going to disappear through the day. So if you don't use those Tier 2s early, I think you're going to have a struggle getting any more quote-unquote good stuff. So that would be the other tip that I would have. Another thing that I just learned last night, and this was from the Genie Plus system that goes on, you can only lightning lane any individual attraction once per day. Okay? So once you've used one, even if it becomes available again, you can't get it again.
Okay.
So keep that in mind, and what that creates is a big edge for anybody who wants to park hop. So if you've got an annual pass or you buy park hoppers, what you can do is you can start your day in one park use up as many lightning lanes as possible, finish in a different park where you haven't necessarily exhausted them. That was a strategy that I would use all the time under Genie Plus, which was also one to a customer per ride. So I think that would be the other recommendation. Obviously, not everybody can do that, and so if you're on a single park ticket, just keeping in mind, how you want to balance that stuff. But I think there's a lot to be said for splitting your day. Going back, go to the pool, take a nap in the middle. Kids get tired, let them recharge your phone, all that type of stuff, and then come back later in the night, like what I did at Hollywood Studios last night. I mean, I got there at 7 o'clock and I rode 7 rides, and 5 of them were big ones.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So the takeaway is use up your tier 2s. That gives you an ability to go back and look at some other options. And remember that you can't double dip. You can't do the same thing twice. Okay.
And you're also limited to 2 paid individual lightning lanes. Even if you want, believe it or not, even if you want to pay more, they won't take your money for a 3rd one. I tried.
It's hard to believe. Hard to believe. Take my money. And Disney says, no,
not this time.
No, we don't want it.
Not this time.
Good tips. Good tips. Big Thunder Mountain's looking good today.
It was nice. It was a good, smooth ride early on.
I came here once, first thing in the morning with my daughter, and we made a beeline straight for Big Thunder. And I don't remember this ever happening to me before, but they let us just stay on. And we just rode like 5 or 6 times until she's like, I think I've had enough. And
like that guy who rode the People Mover 60 sometimes in a day, or 50 sometimes. Yeah. That happened to me on this ride, but when I was like 6, back when crowds were not quite the same.
Yeah.
But it's happened to me on the Barnstormer, which after a couple rides on the Barnstormer, you're like Emmy, you're like, no, that's enough. Thanks.
You get your fill of fun, right?
Minute and 20 seconds of that twice. That was good. See you later. Well, I'm going to disconnect my microphone.
All right, Topher.
Thank you to everybody who gave us some comments and things to talk about.
It was great to see you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
See you later. Buy a shirt that Hertz made for you.
WorldOfWealthStore.com. Great design.
I'm running out of room in my closet, so but more ideas are coming. I think.
We've got a few. Most of them from you, by the way. So that's good.
Have a great day. It's been fun. We'll see you around.
Thanks, Topher.
All right. See ya.
Bye. All right, the one, the only Topher. It's great to spend some time with him and learn some tips. I am going to use my 2nd lightning lane for today, and we are going to go on Big Thunder Mountain. Jeff said thank you. Julie, hello to you. Someone said pretty cool. Adam said it was fun. Yeah, I think Topher's going to have to come here every weekend, I think. All right, so when we were walking up to Big Thunder Mountain, I noticed that one of the train cars was stopped on a hill. So I'm hoping that we are not in an operational pause, but we'll see how things go. So Topher is becoming quite an expert in understanding how to use the lightning lane system to its best advantage. So several good tips that he shared with us today. One is use up your tier 2 items early in the day, and make sure that you try to then get the more popular attractions in. And as soon as you tap in for one attraction, it's time to start looking for another one to backfill. So great tips. And you can only purchase 2 lightning lanes for the Lightning Lane Single Pass right now, which is also very interesting because Disney normally does not want to cap the amount of money they get from you, for lack of a nicer way to say it. So that was an interesting tip as well. So Topher, thank you so much for joining. It was a lot of fun to hang out with you. I always love this sign. No drinking, fighting, or whistling. No kidding. Not sure why whistling is called out, but okay. Kate says, need Topher when she books her next trip. I think he could help you out. Amy said, great to have Topher here. Let's get ready for the wildest ride in the wilderness. Susan's a fan. I am too. Lots of fun. Linda loves Big Thunder. Rena says, thank you, Topher. Brian says, what does a whole day cost? Brian, that's an easy question with a hard answer. So pricing is variable by day and also varies based on the number of days that you purchase. What you spend is kind of the sky's the limit and what's your budget, especially when you think about things like food. Yeah, it's sort of how much do you want to spend, and you can do that. Daniel, hello to you. Ron Chapman, woohoo to you too. Tanya said this ride is cool. I agree with you. Joanne says Big Thunder Mountain is a favorite. Terry, good morning to you. Bruce said the comedy duo of Herb and Topher. Topher brings the fun. I just bring the microphone. Amy Beth said Herb and Topher show. I guess it's a Topher and Herb show. Beryl said, fun to spend some time with Topher today. I agree. Beryl, thank you for joining and thank you for all that you do for the site. Always appreciate it. Phil is asking an extremely intelligent and important question. How do you get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month? Phil, you win the award, my undying appreciation. If you would like a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month, you know what to do. Check out pinofthemonthclub.com. Raymond, hello to you. Welcome to the live broadcast. Thanks for being here. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. Dolores is a big Thunder fan. Nikki was here in 1972 when it all first opened. Good for you. Mike is saying we need a podcast. HR is making mention of the countdown calendar, which you can get over at magicalcountdown.com, or you can head over to worldofwaltstore.com, where you can get a link to the Pin of the Month Club, to the T-shirt shop, and the countdown calendar. Joseph, hello to you in Manchester. Going to be here in November. Hope you have a wonderful trip. Belkis, hello to you. Nice to see you. John said, if only you had a countdown calendar. Good thing is we do have a countdown calendar. Actually, the inventory is kind of getting down a little bit, but if you want one, head over to magicalcountdown.com. Check it out while they last. Jennifer's a big Thunder fan.
Number one, please. How many in your group? Number 12.
Wow. Lucky day, we are in the first car. Mitchell was here in January of 72. Good for you. I think the concrete was still drying at that point. Janet, hello to you in Maine. Robert says, where can I find a Let Saturday Begin t-shirt? Robert, good question. Thank you for asking. You can head over to worldofwaltstore.com. And Jeffrey, you are right. There's a link over to the TeePublic t-shirt shop with lots of designs inspired by Disney concepts, but not infringing on Disney intellectual property. Lance said the lightning lane was fast. It was fast. Hello, Garth. Welcome to the wildest ride in the wilderness. Jeffrey said standby was 45 minutes and I tapped in 6 minutes ago. That is quick. That is very quick. Ariel said hold on tight to the gimbal for sure. I think I may deactivate the gimbal because with all of the bumping around and the gimbal trying to stabilize, it sometimes, well, it just can't do it. So I'm going to actually turn the gimbal off and do some manual stabilizing here. right, Lance says the front of the train is smooth. Jeffrey, no jumping allowed. Alan said would like a Saturday in the front of the monorail. I don't think that's allowed anymore, but I would love that too. I actually did get to ride in the front of the monorail way back when that was still a thing. The wildest ride in the wilderness. Hang on. Nice view of the goats. Woo, made it. All right, gimbal mode back on. Alright, I think I still have everything. Hat, wallet, phone did not fly out of the train, which is good, although it almost did. I thought, wow, if the phone flies out of the train, everyone's just going to see a broadcast to the sky until the battery dies.
So, really,
Yeah.
my friend Donovan's here. She's taking film it.
Alright, nice photo spot where you can see the not long for this world rivers of America over to our right, and Tom Sawyer Island beyond, with the fort there. Very scenic, it's very peaceful. Let's see if I can hang on a minute for a train to come by. And there we go. Nice. So, fun day today at the Magic Kingdom. Had a chance to take advantage of two different Lightning Lane reservations with the the Lightning Lane multi-pass. One for the Speedway, one for Big Thunder Mountain. A lot of fun to hang out with Topher and his weekend visit here to the Magic Kingdom. It's fun to get some tips on how to use Lightning Lane. Have a little bit of discussion about the Topher Classic Park, and a great idea, I think, of maybe there could be a simulator where you could have a chance to experience attractions from the gone by days. Stephen, hello to you. Robert says, where is the river going? The river is disappearing. So Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island are going to be removed from the Magic Kingdom, and a new Cars Land or Mini Land is going to take its place. One with a thrilling attraction beyond Radiator Springs. Probably something like what is in Cars Radiator Springs Racers out at Disneyland. But not a clone, something different, which is kind of fun. And there's also going to be an attraction for younger guests as well, all part of the deluge of news that came out of D23 this past weekend. Mitchell says, crowds look light. I would agree with you. It doesn't feel too crowded. Gary says it's time for a shameless plug. Gary, thank you. Today you win the award, my appreciation. If you or anyone you know would like to get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home every single month, check out pinofthemonthclub.com. Phil, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining. Steve, appreciate your being here as well. So thanks to everyone for joining me today. Thanks for Topher for sharing a bit of the Saturday time with me. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, God bless.